So what we're going to do right now is look at the external features of the brain. So what we'll do is we'll start with the lobes of the brain. So I'm just going to turn it so you guys can see kind of what it looks like here. So we'll start with just external features. So this lobe here would be the frontal lobe. On the sides right here you can see the temporal lobe of the brain. This would be the parietal lobe, excuse me. And back here we have the occipital lobe. And what you notice is the lobes are named after the bones. So frontal lobe, parietal lobes, occipital lobe, temporal lobes named after the bones that cover it. Underneath here you can see the cerebellum of the brain. And then we can see the brain stem. This portion right through here underneath the pituitary gland, so this is pituitary gland. This would be the midbrain section. This is the pons of the brain stem, and this is the medulla oblongata of the brain stem, and that would extend eventually out to the spinal cord. Right underneath here, underneath the pituitary gland, you can see these two bumps right here. Those are mammillary bodies. They're part of the hypothalamus. We can see the optic chiasm right here, which means this would be the optic nerves coming in this way. So this is optic nerves, optic chiasm, and then they would continue as the optic tracts. So optic tract going that way, optic tract going that way. Underneath here we have the olfactory bulb, and then this continues on as the olfactory tract, and so what's running through here is the olfactory nerve. If we turn it this way, okay, we'll look at the structures across the brain here. So this is the longitudinal fissure of the brain, this way, dividing the two hemispheres. Here we have the central sulcus. Okay, if you look at the central sulcus, it divides the gyri, these brain tissue ridges. So this would be the precentral gyrus, and this would be the postcentral gyrus. This groove right here would be the lateral sulcus, so dividing the temporal lobe from the parietal and frontal. And then this one right here would be the transverse cerebral fissure, dividing the temporal lobe from the cerebellum. Let's see what else. A couple other things. On the medulla oblongata, we can see the raised ridge right here. That's called the pyramid of the medulla oblongata. And the pyramid of the medulla oblongata has a section, can't see on here, but there's a section called the decussation of the pyramids, where the information would cross from one side to the other. So information from the right side of the brain would come down, okay, through what's called the corticospinal tract, and then it would cross over to the left side and control the left side of the body. And the left side from the primary motor area would come down the brainstem, and it would decussate and cross over to the right side.